We're losing a legend in Bob Lantzy, head coach of Utica Eisenhower. Has been there, it seems like, forever. And he finally steps away. I know he really wanted the title this year. Would have been a great way to go out on top. But, you know, 6-0. What are you? Or 6-3?
6-3.
Yeah, I mean,
he came close.
He came real close.
You know, I don't think everybody knew then in the semifinals how close, because most people thought that Catholic Central would beat Cass Tech. As it turns out, you see what Cass Tech did to Catholic Central. You know, if somehow Ike scores another touchdown or gets a field goal and sends it into overtime, who knows what Eisenhower would have done in the state championship game. But that's all conjecture. And Bob's happy the way things turned out. I mean, he had a great run. Last year they were 10-2. This year they were 11-2. He was telling me when he called me up and told me, you know, that he was getting out, and you know, he thought about it a few years back, and there was a 5-5 season they had there, and he just didn't feel right to leave the program like that. And then they went 7-4. Then last year's 10-2 team. He wanted to keep that program up here where it's been for so long, and now he leaves it in the capable hands. We think it might be Chris Smith, the defensive coordinator there. It has no official announcement yet. Still waiting for that. But hey, this team's on the upturn too. There was a strong junior class at Eisenhower.
Absolutely.
They're going to be back.
Yeah, great.
So, congratulations to Bob, though. It was a pleasure.
And just kind of talk a little about his legacy and what he was able to do in his time for those who don't realize how many great teams he had.
Well, you go back to the Youngbloods, Tim and Joe. They had some really good years there. That was kind of the first era of the great Eisenhower teams. And then the DiGiorgio brothers come in, and that was the second wave of great.
And these are the 80s we're talking
Well, we're talking late 80s into the 90s. Well, late 80s and into the 90s with the DiGiorgios.
Right.
Well, and they didn't really get to the championship game. I believe the first one was 99. The last one was 2003. And twice they lost to Catholic Central. And if you go back before that, when they were trying to knock on the door, they got beat in a classic overtime game against Catholic Central at Rynearson Stadium. There was a rivalry there between those two schools. Now, granted, they didn't play each other during the regular season, but because they were so strong, they were going to meet someplace. So.
Right. And that was the last private team they played, am I correct?
I believe it was in 2003.
So they haven't played a private school since that time. So they were waiting for Catholic Central one more time.
Well,
Maybe that will change.
We thought that might happen this year had they beaten Cass Tech.
Sure.
But congratulations to Bob. Now we can go off into the desert in Arizona and play lots of golf.